Welcome. This is a slow bow practice. Let's begin. Please start in a seated position, one where you can sit upright and create a little arch in your low back. Lift your chin and float your arms up and forward. Curl your fingers and touch the tips of your fingers together for globe hands. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Continue those slow, long, and purposeful breaths. And as you continue, the emphasis of doing a slow bowstring practice is essentially to pay attention, to be mindful, and to increase your awareness. And to pay attention and be mindful is something that is so valuable. It's what people will literally pay for. So instead of paying attention, they're buying attention, because it's the moments where we are fully aware with our one-pointed focus that we truly live. Then fold your hands together, place your thumbs to your forehead, gentle bow. Reopen your eyes and reach your arms forward and up. So there's a stretch and a reach. Keep your fingers curled, lean forward, touch down into globe hands. Here with your hands making a bit of a dome shape, touch your fingers all the way down. Then move your knees back, tuck your toes under, and lift up for crouching cat position. Here in crouching cat, position yourself so your chin is in line with your wrists. Open your feet wide, almost as wide as the mat. Give yourself some space. Of course, having the appropriately sized mat is important. Actively push down with the hands. Pull down with the finger pads themselves. And as you push down with your hands, lift your rib cage up. With your knees slightly bent, push your knees energetically to the side to tilt your sit bones up into the air. Big breath in and big breath out. Of course, there's all sorts of movements in bowstring. You're always welcome to pulse if that's something that you'd like. Again, the emphasis is on going slow, and being slow is to be mindful. So you might not move around and may stay a little bit more fixed. So just notice when you push down with your finger pads that you can strengthen your arms more. Actively pull your rib cage forward. Think of someone pulling your hips back to lengthen your spine. And of course, make your breath slow and fluid and even. One last breath in. And then on an exhale, lower your knees, but not your ribs. So drop your knees down, but keep the rib cage buoyant. So an example here is if it collapses, it looks like that. So keep the rib cage lifted, and then point your toes and move back about maybe a quarter to a third of the way towards your heels in what's called spring load position. So you're moving back, loading a spring as you're ready to release and lift out. Now, not holding this one too long. Instead, walk your hands over to the right for a side spring load. You could stay on fingertips if you want to put a bit more emphasis into the legs. Paying attention to your legs, push your knees energetically out to the sides. Feel how your glutes get stronger. Fingertips is different than finger pads. That's finger pads from me right here. And I can only do finger pads for so long because it starts to hyperextend the joints, that first joint in each finger. So fingertips is more fingernails. It may be a little bit too difficult if you have beautifully long fingernails, or if you're like me and you like to hunt for your own food and you keep your fingernails long to begin with. Okay, then move over to the other side. And as you move over to the other side, actively reach out with the right arm as you tack your right hip back. So it's a nice side body stretch. It's very similar to Twisted Cat, but without the twist. But maybe we'll do that very soon. Foreshadowing. On your next inhale, return to sender. Return to center. That's a different song. Tuck your toes under and lift your knees, rise up to Crouching Cat. Here in Crouching Cat position, on an exhale, drop your heels to your right, turn your feet to the left, and then tilt your right ear to your right shoulder, rise onto your left fingertips for Twisted Cat position. So this is one where people often will move quite a bit, or even lift the hand or lift a leg. Embrace the simplicity of the base form, which might even stay keeping your left hand down flat on the floor. And of course in Bowspring, instead of flat, it's just bright. Moving your hips back in this case is to the right side of the mat. Tilt your right ear to your right shoulder, and then actively stretch long with your left hand, pushing it forward to feel the stretch through the side ribs. On your next inhale, lift your heels up, and then drop your heels over to the left. Again, just notice the habitual patterns of wanting to lift and move, and instead hold steady and pay more attention. Hug the knees in a little bit so you can move your hips further back. And then, like you had an elastic band around your knees, push your knees away from each other to get your glutes stronger. Push down with the right hand and forward. Push both hands away from each other. Tilt your left ear to your left shoulder. Lift the right side rib cage up high. Breathe deep. And then come all the way back to Crouching Cat. Again, maintain the lift of your rib cage, second time practicing. On an exhale, slowly lower your knees down. Pause with a big breath in and a big breath out. Here in all fours with your toes pointing back. Push your knees out to the sides to feel your glutes light up. Then on an inhale, lift your right leg back behind you. Lifting it to the knee to about the same height as your hips. Bend your knee 90 degrees. And then from there, pull your knee down energetically. So this 90-degree angle leg is called square leg position. But pull the knee down as if you put a coffee table under your knee, which would just be a very strange thing to do if you had guests over. But at this point in time, we're not having very many guests over. Pull the knee down as if you had a resistance there. Move the hips up so you can hollow out your groins. Big breath in, and then breath out, and lower your knee down. On your next inhale, lift your left leg back behind you. And again, open the leg up so that the back of the knee is about 90 degrees. If it's a little wider, 98 degrees, that's okay. Just let that be a gift to you. And then pull your knee down as if you're pushing down into a resistance, quite firm enough to create tone in your abdominals. When you become advanced in Bowspring, you recognize that every pose is an abdominal exercise, and that it's not what your six-pack looks like on the outside, it's how you feel on the inside that matters. So pulling the knee down, moving the hips energetically back. In this case, it's kind of up. One last breath, and then lower your knee down. A couple of mindful push-ups here. You're welcome to go wider with your hands and even turn the hands in a little bit. Move forward, stay on your knees, but lift your feet and then push your knees energetically to the side. Pull your heels in towards your butt. On an exhale, lower down halfway, pause, and then inhale and come up. Again, exhale, lower. Inhale and come up. Keep the legs active. And 3 more. Two more. And then last one. And then replace your hands as you would for Crouching Cat. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, and slowly step forward towards your hands. Instead of being in a forward fold, lift for the halfway lift position. Have the feet as wide as your hips, if not a little bit wider. Give yourself more space, more balance, more strength, and then cup the back of your head with your hands. Point your elbows down, push your head into your hands, move your hips further back, create the slight arch in your low back, lengthen your spine. With the arch in your low back, push your legs a little straighter, and with your next inhale, slowly rise all the way up to stand. Rising to a standing position with your hands in ecstasy arms. Big breath in, lift the rib cage up as you drop your hips down. And then as you exhale, arc over to your right. And pausing to hold here. One thing I like to do in this side position is to take the right hand and hold the outside of the left elbow, gently pull the elbow down, while at the same time resisting and pushing the elbow up and creating a little bit of a twist upwards. Turn your knees in, move your groins back, encourage the curvature inward of your low back, and then push your knees out as you spin and lift your elbow up into your hand. One more breath, and then return to center, and take your left hand, arc over towards the left, pull your elbow down, push your elbow up into your hands. I think a really great way to practice bowspring is literally with an elastic band, not like what you get in grocery stores with your vegetables, but Pilates will actually have rubber bands that can go around the knees to mimic that pushing the knees out. And then the same thing here with the hand pulling down on the elbow, push up, feel the side ribs get broader, and then twist, lift your chin, lift the elbow high, lean back, push your head back into your hand. Feel your abs, six pack, here we come. And then come all the way back, reach your arms forward, and then straighten your legs, bring your arms down. Just sway a little bit from side to side. And then lean over to your right foot, balancing more bowspring style. So bend your right leg just a little bit, and then lift your left knee to about the height of your hips. From your knee, pull your knee towards your hip, and then push back against the resistance of your hands. Option here now to hold underneath your thigh and just extend your leg straighter to feel how that feels. If you feel intense sensation in the back of your thigh, you're winning. That's called stretching. Now rebend your knee and just switch the placement. So hold the underside of your thigh with your right hand, and your left hand could go to your hip, or cup the back of your head. Continue to drop the weight of your leg into your hand. It's a little bit harder, and then push your leg straighter and forward. Breathing deeply. Holding one-legged balancing positions is quite demanding and requires 100% of our focus. We have to be in at 100%. Bend your knee, lower your foot down, and immediately just lean over to your left. Lift your right knee, pause and hold the position. Pull the knee into your hip, push the knee back, use that to lift up and stand taller, and then hold underneath your thigh and begin to extend your leg straighter. Extending your leg as straight as feels comfortable for you. Look forward. Pause. Maintain the challenge. Keep the standing leg bent, which essentially just gets your glute muscles on your left side activated. Then rebend your knee, cross over, and then right hand can go to the hip or cup the back of your head. And then from this position where you twist, do the same thing again. Extend your leg straighter. And it might not go all the way to straight, and that's A-OK all the way. One more breath in, full inhale, and then bend your knee, lower your foot down, reach your arms forward in front of you. Then bend your elbows and hold opposite elbows. And for this one, use your fingers to hook around your elbows and then push your elbows out into the hook of your fingers so that you can literally lock the elbows in place. But as you push the elbows out, you actually expand the rib cage side to side. Now this one's a little bit of a humbling twist. So genie arms position, bend the knees, keep your left hip back, big breath in. And as you exhale, twist to your right while keeping your left hip back. It's not very far, see? If I move the left hip, oh, I'm so great at twisting, but it's just my legs that are twisting. So keeping the hips fixed, a really great way to do this one would be to be at a wall with both butt cheeks to the wall and twist. And it's humbling in the sense that we actually don't have that much of a capacity to twist. We can twist a little, but it's not as much as you think. And then back to center, big breath in, switch your genie arms, switch your wish, and twist to the left. You get 2 wishes, or is it 3? I wish all poses could be at the wall like this. This is great. Turn it into a wall sit, sit down low, become a strength builder for your legs as well. Lift your chin, push your elbows out to the side, move towards the left more. One of my loves of bowspring is just the adaptability and creativity that bowspring offers, that there isn't a tradition where things are how they are supposed to be. There's a bit more fluidity to be dynamic and fresh. Return to center and then bring your arms down. Bringing your arms down, lean over to your right foot and lift your left leg behind you this time. Grab hold over top of the toes, and specifically here, it's where you're literally holding over the toes for bowspring style. And it's not that outside or inside is wrong. It's just different. This is a bit more of a mid-ground position, and then pull down on your foot as you pull up with the hands. And then from there, with your right hand, place the fist on top of your head. And on that occasion, pull down with your hand, but push up with your head. As you pull down with your foot and pull up with your hand there, tilt forward, kick your foot back, but stay lifted as you push your head up into your hand. Feel a lift through your rib cage. Hold strong. And just because I find them so fun to do, you'll get one shot, one opportunity, one chance at a rebound where you hinge forward. You'll have to take the hand off of the head, tap the floor, and then slowly rise up. Nicely done. Then lower your foot and switch sides. Lean to your left foot, lift your right foot, and then hold over top of the toes. And as you hold over top of the toes, pull your foot down and resist back by pulling the hand up. There's this constant challenge. And again, it's just kind of a mid-range. It's not the inside, it's not the outside of the foot. Somewhere in the middle, which a lot of times is where bowspring is. Bend your standing leg, place a fist to the top of your head, push your head up into your hand, lift up tall, lift your rib cage high, big breath in, kicking the foot back, tilt forward, kick it back, lift up, pause, hold here, or add the rebound where you slowly hinge forward. Slow bow, touch down, and then come all the way up. Then lower your foot down. And similar idea, just swing your left leg back behind you. Go into globe hands position and tilt forward for propeller position. Pausing here just to find your balance. And then once you find your balance, place both hands to both knees. So right hand to right knee, left hand to left knee. Don't do the crisscross or my favorite dance move, that one. So it's just right to right, left to left. Then push your knee forward into your hand, the back knee, and use that to move your hips further back. And this is the same action you would have attempted in all fours when you're pushing the knee into an imaginary coffee table, unless it was your real coffee table, and hopefully not on your coffee as well. But as you push your knee forward, use that to move your hips further back. Big breath in, hold strong. Then place your hands the outside of your knees and push your knees outwards into the resistance of your hands so you feel your legs get stronger, more fiery, and more fierce. One more breath here. And we're going to stay in the crouched-ish position. Just lower your foot and lift your other foot behind you. So right leg goes back. Enjoy a little bit of freedom with your hands in globe hands. And then tilt forward. Place both hands to both knees. Push your right knee forward. As your knee goes forward, move the top of the thigh back. So it helps to create the arch in your low back. And it can be fairly fierce. If you push forward a lot, you have to push back, and that creates more strength in the whole body, but of course the arms, the legs, and the abs, which really, when you go to the gym, is there anything else? And then pushing, slide your hands now to the outside of your knees, press the knees out energetically, move your hips back, feel your legs get stronger, hold strong, look a little forward, push your standing leg slightly straighter, and then lower your foot down, rise to stand, step your left foot back, short stance, bow style pyramid. So it's quite a bit narrower than traditional yoga. Instead of being, say, that long with your legs, they're maybe about half the distance. So now bend the back knee for sure and place both hands to both knees. Move your hips back, and you can do mood enhancer, which is where you grab both cheeks and lift them up. Instantaneous smile. Yeah, you like that. And then now, keeping that, place both hands to your front knee. Push the knee forward as the action to move the top of your thigh back. And you can maintain the action of pushing the knee forward into your hands as you do the opposite movement and straighten your leg to the best of your ability. And that's an intense stretch for me. If it's not much of a stretch for you, you can always bend the back knee further. Try to lift the glutes up more. Look forward. Big breath in, hold strong. You might get lower to the ground or use a block. For myself though, I'm actually pretty good with a solid stretch right here. And the smile is not pretend. Okay, then push off of your foot to step forward and switch sides. Lean over to your left. Take a little step back with the right foot. Bend both knees. Move your knees in. Move the hips back. Push the front foot forward. And then from there, hands to your front knee. Pushing the knee forward. Begin to press your leg straighter. Again, you can create the mood enhancer. Sometimes what happens, of course, with folks is that they overdo the low back curve. So if that's the case, remember to round into the upper back too. So you fill into your upper back as you arch in the low back and push the knees energetically to the side. So it's not all just the lower back curve that does the work. And then push your front leg straighter. There it is. There it is. What am I supposed to feel? Feel this. And then globe hands, push forward. Switch to the first side again. Exact same setup. Hands to the front knee. Tilt forward, push your front leg straighter. Rebend into your knee. This time either go hands a hip or hand cups the back of your head. Again, I sometimes like actually the fist position on top of the head because then you can push forward with your head as you move your hips back. This is reverse pyramid, sometimes revolved triangle. I like reverse pyramid because that's dimarid, pyramid backwards. And then as you twist, get the arch in your low back and then push the front leg straighter, holding strong. Breathe deep, push your head forward into your own hand. And one more breath in. Back to center. Globe hands, push off, step forward, and then step back. Bend the back knee, bend the front knee, tilt forward, hands to your front thigh, hug the knees in, push your front leg straighter, lengthen your spine, big breath in, and then begin to twist towards the left. Left hand could go to your hip or your low back to encourage the low back curve in and up. Again, mood enhancer, it's always just a great option. Anytime you have a chance to grab your own butt, it's a win. And then either cup the back of your head or go fist to the crown of your head, push your head forward into your hand, press your front leg straighter, big breath in. And don't forget to breathe out. I'm just going to assume that you continue to breathe. You've gotten this far in life, remembering to breathe every time. Okay, and then back to center. Globe hands, push off, step forward, step back again, except this time point your toes and bring the top of your foot down and then your knee down. From here, take a wide sweeping arc over to the left. Bring your hand down and cup the back of your head for baby mantis position. Hug your elbow in, lift your chin out of your chest, push your right foot forward, move more weight towards your back heel, and lift the right side rib cage higher up into the air. Tilting the ear further, lift the rib cage higher, and then push off with your left hand. Come all the way up. Reach your arms forward and wide. Lift your front heel. Lift your front foot. One shin balance. Can we hold this for about 30 seconds? I don't know. Can you? Can you? Oh, almost lost it. Getting very quiet in here. Okay, it's pretty close. I've got a clock in the room. That's about 30 seconds. Bring your leg back. And then here in a kneeling position, we'll just do a couple of the positions we did standing earlier. So now cup the back of your head and arc over to your right. With your right hand, you can reach down and across, and then hold the outside of your left elbow and then pull the elbow down, push your elbow up into your hand and use that to twist. So this is just taking the legs out of the equation. And then back to center and then go over to the other side. So I'll just face the camera for this. And arc to your left this time. Hold the outside of the right elbow, pull the elbow down, push your elbow back into your hand, feel the side rib cage lift, move your hips back, push your knees out to the side, push your feet out to the side, lift up, twist further, rise, and then back to center, arms forward, lean your weight into your right leg and step your left foot forward with the arms forward and wide. Big sweeping arc over to the right. You can always add a little swaying seaweed. and touch your hand down. Cup the back of your head, push your front foot forward, lift your chin out of your chest, and then look. And you can add a little bit of movement here till you find the position that works best for you. And then from there, tilt the ear, lift the left side rib cage, push the front foot forward, move your hips back as if you're moving back into that spring load position. A real element of bowspring is always to be ready to just move, to lift off. Okay, and then push off with your hand, rise up, reach your arms forward and wide. One shin balance, 30 seconds. Lift your front heel, lift your front foot. Who got this? You got this. I got this. You got this. She got this. He got this. They got this. We got this. Okay, that covered up about 15 seconds. That's pretty good. Okay, there we go. Nicely done. 30 seconds. And then bring your hands down. Pause. With the hands down, just lift your right leg out to the side. Pull your knee forward. Move your hips back. Rise onto fingertips. And then cup the back of your head. Just a different play on one shin balance. And then lower your hand, lower your knee, and switch sides. Lift your left leg back, rise onto left fingertips, or cup the back of your head. Hold strong, breathe deep for 3, 2, and 1. And then push your way back into the kneeling position. Hold on to opposite elbows, and then again, hook the elbows with your fingers. Push your elbows out to the sides, and then a little twist over towards the right. And then return to center, and then a little twist over to the left. And it's even more humbling. You don't twist like half of what you do standing. Lift your chin, keep your throat open so your breath can be full. Okay, and then touch your hands down. Tuck your toes, lift your knees to hover, and turn your knees to the left. Move your right hand forward a little bit, and your left hand back and on fingertips slightly. Then turn your torso from left to right for seated side twists. Lift your chin, look forward, breathe deeply, and pause. Actively pushing the hands down to lift the spine up as tall as you can, and twisting from left to right. And again, you don't really twist that much, so it's okay not to twist and have to look over your shoulder. Essentially, you're trying to feel good in poses, which might be just a nice stretch and a lengthening of your side belly and the belly itself. Okay, now slide your right arm long, lie onto your side for side bow. And you can make side bow more challenging by pushing your head down and lifting the side ribs and side waist. And then hover your left leg, place your hand to the front of your knee, push your knee forward into your hand as you move your hips back, and then hold the outside of your knee with your hand as you push your left knee up and press your right knee down. Feel your glutes get stronger. Lift your chin. Breathe fully. Okay, and then go left hand in front of you on the floor and just push your way up to all fours. Pause at the top. And then tuck your toes, move your knees over to the right. Move your left hand forward, right hand onto fingertips. Lift your chin, big breath in. Twist from right to left, lifting the belly, lifting the ribs, lifting your chin, lifting your eyes, twisting from right to left. Slowing down the intensity of the practice. Wouldn't say we're slowing down the rate because it has been slow bow. I want to say slow blow, but that's not slow bow. Slide your left arm long, place your head onto your upper arm. Again, you could lift the side ribs and side waist by pushing your head down, and then hover the right knee, push your knee forward into your hand. It's what you did in propeller pose and many others, the all fours knee on a coffee table. It's a huge moment in practice when you begin to realize that every pose is connected in some way, and some more than others. And when you start to see that in bowspring or yoga and the poses, eventually it turns into everyday life and everyone and everything, and it's that is the revelation. Place your hand to the outside of your knee, push your knee up into your hand, push your knee down. I had a big moment when I was driving through downtown, seeing everyone when I was driving in my Porsche. I realized that we're all connected, we're all the same. Okay, instead of coming up, this time just roll onto your back. Try not to use your hands. Reach your hands up and then use the back of your head, your shoulders, your feet, the back of your hips. Similar to the side bow, lying on your side. Come to a place where you could slide your forearm under your low back like that, so your low back is lifted. Keep your left foot flat and pull your foot back towards your hips as you lift your right knee in. Place your hands to the front of the knee. Push the leg away from you, but resist back. Push your knee into your hand. We've done this before, again and again and again. And then now, notice that creates this tone and power in your waist. Extend your leg up into the air. Isn't it great that you can create that same level of power that you do standing, but it's so much more relaxing when you're on your back? And that's not for show. That is an intense stretch for me. Finish for 3, 4, 5. Sometimes I do that just to be a little bit mean. Bend your knee, lower your foot down, pause to feel the difference between the two sides. It's why we do both sides, to balance ourselves out. Pull back with your right foot, lift your left foot, place your hand to the front of your thigh, push your knee into the resistance of your hand, but your hands say, no, get away leg, we don't need you here. And then low back is like, hey, I'm off the ground, keep me off the ground, this is so great. And abs are just like, okay, I'm gonna settle this between you two. And then now hold the back of your thighs and extend your leg up into the air, back of your thigh. We'll get to double legs in a moment. Big breath in. And big breath out. A slow rate of breath allows you to move more slowly, with more intention, with more purpose, and more attention. Okay, and then lower your foot down. For the arms, my favorite is actually to go into chin-up bar position where I hold the front edge of the mat like this. And now it's just going to be lift the right leg up and then lower the right leg down. And I actually like to have the knees a bit bent, maybe having the foot a bit more forward than the last pose we just did, but just lifting the leg up and then lowering it down. If you prefer to switch in mid-air, you're welcome to do that. It's just mindful abs is this section of practice. When you touch your foot down, you could drag your foot back a little bit to create a little bit more intensity. You could also keep one leg up into the air while you lower the other leg down. And in the classes I teach, when I offer all these choices, I have some that no matter what, they'll just go to both legs at the same time, as quick as possible, and never stop doing both legs. And part of that is the assumption that both legs is more challenging, therefore it's better for them. That's just something you have to come to a realization that there isn't a right or wrong. Sometimes it's actually really good to isolate and do one leg at a time. But Heck, today might be the day you like both legs. When you do both legs, the low back is like, hey, I'm off the ground. Now I'm way off the ground. So you have to remember to keep the rib cage on the ground and have the low back lift. Ooh, and that's where it gets tough. Okay, and then feet down, hands to your thighs. I'm going to do the double leg this time. So lift your feet, hold the backs of your thighs. Both have your low back lifted a bit. Your upper back, rib cage, pressing down, holding your thighs, push your thighs into your hands, and then extend both legs straighter above you. That's kind of like a happy baby if you had really long arms. And it's a play on freedom pose. So freedom, straight legs, and then freedom pose is actually just bending your knees like this, cupping your knees with your hands. Okay, then roll over to one side, and we will finish in a seated position. Grab the cymbals. And it may help to sit onto a block for this. You could sit cross-legged, or as I'm doing, sitting on a block between my heels in hero's pose. Rise up on fingertips. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, turn to your right. Place your left hand to the outside of your thigh. And instead of having your right hand down, especially if it's on a block, you could cup the back of your head and push your head back. Or what I mentioned earlier, if you put a fist to the top of your head, gives you something to resist against, to lengthen and lift your spine up. Okay, and then go over to the other side. Right hand to the outside of your left thigh. And then option to put a fist to the top of your head. Push your head up into your hand. Twist from right to left. Okay, and then back to center, and then just bow style, seated on fingertips, lift up tall, breathing for 1 minute. Please join your hands together. Namaste.